I'm super excited to be here with Vicky, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. Vicky, tell us about you and your business.
Okay, so hi, I'm Vicky Smith. I am a web designer. The name of my company is Vicky Natalie. That's my first and middle name, Nathalie. I offer web design and online business support services for on women coaches and healers and spiritpreneurs, right? So that's the group that I primarily work with. Yeah.
Oh, yay, wonderful. And I just have to tell everybody watching here that I've been a follower of Vicky's for a while. And I was so excited when her name popped up on my form. And you know what, Vicky, I never sent you the picture. I took a picture of the Post-it note that I was telling you about that
Oh,
says,
really?
reach out to Vicky. I promise this is so funny. Like, I was just so delighted. Well, anyway, let's dig into things. And what we're going to do today, the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to look at Vicky's chart, and we're going to look at her chart from an astro branding perspective. So this is kind of the way that I approach branding, my little system. And then we're going to talk to Vicky about if she has any challenge or question that we might be able to figure out based on her birth chart. And then we're going to take a look at her beautiful Instagram feed and see if we can better align it with her astrology chart. And then at the end, please everybody stay on tune because I have a link for you. I have a webinar coming up that I'd like you all to sign up for. So here we go. Okay, Vicky, we're going to share your screen. I've been looking at your chart for quite a bit here. Well, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
I can.
Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so that we can get into details. So everybody here, this is a tool that I use. It's a great basic tool. It's a free tool. It's called astro.com, and it gives you lots of information on your personal chart. You can, I'm not an affiliate. It's totally free. You can go in and pop in your birthday, your time, and your place of birth, and it'll pop out a chart that looks, it won't look like this because everybody's chart is very different looking, and but you'll get to see a lot of insights with the different planets, where they're placed in which sign and which house they're placed in. So for this mini reading, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at 3 big milestones or points of interest in your chart. And then I'm going to also talk about some big picture things that I see that are kind of common threads. So Vicky, earlier you were saying that you've got your birth chart read before, right?
Yeah, I did. I had my first reading last month.
Awesome. And did you come away with any insights?
One of the things they said that I don't know how I felt about was that they really don't see entrepreneurship in my chart, which I thought that was kind of like a little discouraging, but there were so many other things that they said that were spot on.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of funny. I never really think about like, oh, can somebody be an entrepreneur based on their chart? I mean, I guess you can look at it like if you prefer being the leader or if you prefer working for others, but in a way as an entrepreneur, you're both a leader and a servant, right? Like that's how we do our best work. But let's take a look at your chart. So the 3 main points that I look at in astro branding are your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. So what this means is that, so for Vicky, her sun sign, and that's this little circle that kind of looks like a target. Your sun sign is like the core of you and the core of your brand. So this is like your values, your strengths, what really lights you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look at your moon sign, which is your inner brand, your interior self, which oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we don't really talk about. what we need in our inner lives to feel secure and how to move forward in our businesses. But this is a huge thing. So even though our clients may not see directly our inner selves, they definitely get a glimpse of it. So, when you're feeling insecure and things, like, even though your clients are like, well, I don't really know that she's insecure, they can feel it. So that's why it's important to look at our inner brand. And then we look at our rising sign. That is our outer brand. This is the brand that is full on the brand that our clients and customers see. All right. So how do we align all of those things, right? So what's super interesting is that Vicky has all of these planets all stacked up here in Sagittarius. In astrology, this is called a stellium, when you have 3 or more planets in one little area. But what's super interesting is that just because all of these planets are stacked up in Sagittarius, they have very different flavors, because her sun is in the 12th house. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces. It's a house of inner work, of inner secrets, of like really deep self-knowledge, okay? And the 11th house, which is the house ruled by Aquarius, which is the house of hopes and dreams and friendships and innovations and technology. All right. So even though you have this really strong Sagittarius, the Sagittarius archetype is that classic the guide, the philosopher, somebody who's always dreaming big and thinking really big and directing people along their paths. That is the archetype of Sagittarius, but they have two very different flavors. So how does that feel for you so far?
No, this is lining up with what I understand so far.
Great. So when we look at our sun sign for our brand, I'm sure you do this for your clients as well, as like when you're figuring out their brand, you really want to know their values, right? What they stand up for in their lives, if their values actually align with your values. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I love to work with people who we have similar values and similar ethics. Right. And I think sometimes people don't don't give that much weight, but it's really huge, especially because we are the authors of our destiny and we can choose who we want to work with. So by having our values being loud and clear, we are able to attract the same clients that are also on that same vibe. So with your values, I'm guessing, and your secret sauce, I'm guessing that with in the 12th house and in Sagittarius, you probably have a lot of I'm seeing a lot of expansiveness, a lot of ideas, and what that means is big ideas and philosophical ideas, and thinking about traveling. Like, even if you're not physically going to a destination, you're mentally going far and like going wide.
Absolutely.
But because it's in the 12th house, I have this feeling that maybe you like to keep things close to you. If you're a poker player, you're definitely keeping your cards close to you, and that you have this really deep, intense knowledge of whatever you decide to be an expert in. Very deep. And also the 12th house is a little bit of spirituality. When we think about the circle of the houses and the circle of the zodiac, from one being ruled by Aries and then going around the zodiac, we come back to the 12th house that's ruled by Pisces. This is kind of like in karmic evolution, the end of a cycle. So meaning you've become the most evolved. Does that have any meaning?
Become the most, like, recently, like, this has kind of been happening more recently for me, where I'm kind of just waking up. You know what I mean? And it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it almost feels like the beginning of like me like really coming into who I am finally.
Like on a spiritual level,
Yeah,
would you say?
absolutely. Definitely on a spiritual level.
That, yeah, I can see that in the 12th house with that and that sense of spirituality. So that's just one aspect. So at the core of your brand, of your values, knowing that you need to be forever the student and learning and expanding and exploring, while also then guiding your customers on that same path. That's the Sagittarius. Your moon sign or your interior brand. This is talking about your emotions and your intuition, and maybe some also fears, shadows. Those are all kind of encapsulated in the moon sign. That's also in Sagittarius. So what this is telling me is that to feel super secure in your business, that you always need to feel this sense of expansion, of learning new things, of deepening your knowledge, and also because it's in the 11th house, the place of hopes and dreams and friends, innovation, technology, you need to have a really tight circle of friends that are supporting you in your endeavors. Does that feel? How does that sound to you?
Especially the learning part. Like when I'm like I'm always going to be a student. Like I love to learn. Like when I, first got into, college, then I went back and then I went back again. And it's like, then I got, I always want to know everything I can know about my field. Like I would go back and get certifications. And now that my focus has shifted, and it's like, okay, well, what can I learn about this? What can I learn about branding? What can I learn about design? What can I learn about, spirituality? Like I'm just diving really deep. So it's like I want to just learn everything.
Yes, and I can see that because this is something that we wouldn't normally cover in a mini branding session, but the way where your Pluto is in the 9th house and its relationship to the sun, this is just like really igniting and like making something super, super powerful. So this is just igniting all of your values here. My question about your friends and your support system in your business, do you currently have a network of like-minded friends and associates?
Um, not a not so much. There are some groups that I've joined. There's a course that I'm in, and it's rather small right now. So there are other web designers and people doing similar things, but I don't really. There aren't any like individuals that I can point out and say like these are my people that um,
That you
that
can go to that
yeah.
have an ear. I would say that if for you and your business to just kind of add even more security and give you drive in your business, I would say that finding either like some kind of mastermind or accountability group, or just this like chosen like family of yours to have this really tight-knit community that you're constantly checking in. I feel that with the moon in your 11th house that you would really grow from that kind of support.
Yeah, I tend to need accountability. Like when it's left up to me, it might get done. It might get done, today. It might get done a month from now. So
Yes.
accountability is big for me.
Yeah, having that accountability, and also with your Mercury right conjunct to your moon, so meaning your Mercury being very close in degrees to your moon. Mercury is the planet of communications, and what that is also saying is that you really need to communicate your emotional needs in order to feel fulfilled. So maybe when you have a question in your business or really feeling stuck, if you had that support system of a group of friends that you could go to, that you would find a lot of support there. and
Yeah.
make a lot of progress. Um, the third aspect that I love to look at in mini astro readings is your ascendant or your rising sign. So this is the sign that was on the horizon at the moment you took your first breath. And this is the sign that the world sees you from. This is the filter in which they see you. So this is how I love to look at when we're creating our business, our brand. And most of us here are our personal brands because we are the face of our business. We interact with our clients. We're the ones on social media. So I look at this sign as what our clients and customers and prospects need from us. And your ascendant, your rising sign is in Capricorn. And I don't know what you know about Capricorn, but you may know that Capricorn is reliable, persistent, practical, and get shit done.
Yeah.
And so what better perfect sign for somebody with your business
Yeah.
they're depending on for you to really get to bring their dreams to life in terms of either some kind of online technical like websites or courses or support. That is the perfect sign for you to be this dependable Capricorn. How does that feel to you?
Yeah, that does resonate. Like at work, I'm always like that go-to person because I still do work as an IT business analyst, and I'm always in that place of right-hand man. Like, this is who you want to give it to if you need something at work.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Bring it to life. Capricorn is the earth sign. There's a lot of earth and a lot of fire in your chart. So I wanted to kind of go over a couple of big picture items other than just those three main points. Can you still see that?
I can.
Awesome. Okay. So there's two really ginormous things that I see in your chart. First of all is that all of your planets are in consecutive houses, all stacked up in this area here across 6 different houses. And this is a special and very rare kind of alignment of planets. This is probably the rarest alignment according to some of the books that I've been reading, and it's called the bundle. And a person, it doesn't matter what signs they're in, when a person has this kind of stacked up bundled planets, this makes them an extreme specialist. So whatever you decide to work in, you know it like the back of your hand. Like you said, you do not stop learning about it. And so when people need a specialist, they come to you. So while there's people touting around that they're a specialist in this or an expert in that, no, Vicki is a specialist.
Yes.
So that's one of the big things that I see. Another big thing that I see, I don't know if you can see this teeny tiny little chart here, but this is a chart of your elements. We talked earlier how you had a lot of fire. You have 4 planets in fire, all mutable. So that means that you are really go with the flow kind of woman. You can change on the dime. You don't get stuck on anything. And you have a lot of earth, which makes you very practical, which makes you much of a creator. Like you can really bring things to life. You only have 1 air and you only have 1 water. And this is what I call the missing elements.
Okay.
This is where I can see a little bit of challenge in your business. Okay. Air signs are the signs of communication, of being social, of being, of connecting with people. Okay. And the only planet that you have there is Pluto. While Pluto is a planet of power and transformation, it's a very outside planet. So when Pluto is just off by itself without any other, so it only transforms what it's relating to. It doesn't really have much effect on its own.
Okay.
it changes the flavor of whatever it's aspected to. And then you have this planet of Uranus here in water in Scorpio. This is definitely your key to spirituality and innovation. Water is your emotional self. Sometimes it is like it's definitely also your intuition. So when you have a knack, when you have a feel, that's your watery self. But again, Uranus is a outer planet, so it doesn't have much effect on us unless there is a lot of other things supporting it. So you have your water in Scorpio. So this makes it also super, super interesting. Maybe I talked a little bit about Pisces and a little bit of secrets, but Scorpio is also an area of transformation. So when we look at Scorpio here, it's right here, and you can see it trining to Mars and trining to Saturn. So it seems, just at a glance, to me, I would say this has a little bit to do with your ability. You have lots of energy in organizing your spiritual disciplines. And while that might not have to do with your business, maybe it does. So what I would say in your business as you're trying to grow, because you have these missing elements of air and water, so that is like your emotional self and then the ability to connect to others, that you create systems for yourself so that you can continuously market, so that you can continuously connect on an emotional level. Because sometimes I feel like those are the missing elements. Those are what you really need to create lasting connection and to bring in more people into your world. Mm-hmm. Does that have any resonance with you?
Yeah, it does. You know, where I struggled, and I'm glad we're gonna look at my Instagram feed. It's what do I post that, like, do I post like strictly like kind of like tech stuff and web design stuff, or do I start posting like quotes, which is what I initially started doing, but then when I decided to go, the web design and tech route, it was like, well, is that appropriate for, what I'm offering? And so what it sounds like is that I still need to put that, put that out there.
Yes. So let's take a look at your Instagram account. I'm going to stop sharing and then let me reshare. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Stop share. And then reshare.
There we are.
Okay. Can we see it? Perfect. So first of all, Vicki has a beautiful brand. I would say that your colors and the cleanliness and the look is perfect for and perfectly aligned with your Capricorn, right? Because we're looking at your external brand, the design and everything from the source of practicality, from the source of getting it done. And it's an earth sign, so it's very earthy. Like, this is totally unresonant.
Okay. But
when you're talking about what's going to add value to your clients, when we think about your specialties, when we think about that, your sun in Sagittarius, but in the 12th house, meanings you have things, your abilities to go really, really, really deep. I think that if you changed your social posts to giving tips on a not superficial level, to assume that your clients, your customers are really advanced people that need deep knowledge. Like,
okay.
I would imagine that most of your clients are going to benefit not from like beginning tips, like for beginning business entrepreneurs, that your entrepreneurs are already seasoned and that they need to know how to take their business to the next level using technology in a really deep, innovative way.
Right.
Is that true? Like, most of your clients kind of like seasoned entrepreneurs?
Yeah, for the most part, they have been. I've had one or two that were kind of newer in their business. or just starting to take their business online. But for the most part, they've been, in their business at least 3 to 5 years.
Okay. And so let's take a, which one shall we take a look at one of your captions?
Um, I don't know. I guess we can look at the last one,
The most current one. All right. So loving the month of December and your birthday and wedding anniversary around the corner, a time of reflection and intention. You took the first steps to creating the life and the business you've been dreaming of and proud of yourself. Great. So how you might be able to connect more in a way is to really share some of yourself with them. So instead of just kind of being superficial about like, oh, it's my birthday and it's my anniversary this month, going deep and like, what does that mean? Like maybe it's how old you are and what you thought you would have accomplished by this age, or what you have accomplished by this age.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's your wedding and sharing some of the ups and downs with your husband. Or if you're talking about business, you talk about the first steps towards creating the life and business that you've been dreaming of. What are those first steps? What are some of those challenges that you've overcome? Because I think that when we are super authentic, and especially with you, like showing a slice of your personal life.
Okay.
Is really going to help, but also applying it to going deep in your business. So can you give me an example of a challenge in your business that you overcame this year?
A challenge, deciding what I wanted to do. That was a challenge, because when I initially started, it was December of last year, so it's been a year. I decided I wanted to be a coach, kind of help women. But then it just didn't feel right. I didn't feel ready. And then, in that process, I built my website. I handled all the back end stuff. My systems were, completely in order. And I found like, well, that's what I enjoy doing. So I'm like, okay, maybe, maybe what would be better for me is to switch gears and offer the services that I actually enjoy doing.
Yes.
And not so much what I thought I should be doing. Right.
Yes.
So just getting that clarity, that was a challenge for me, because, I had to like really make a decision and go with it.
Yeah. So this is perfect. Okay. So systems, right? Like systems are hang up for a ton of people, and it's clear in your chart that systems are like a no-brainer for you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a business systems analyst for 15 years. This is what I do. Like I can just make anything like just flow. You know what I mean?
So when you're writing a post like this, go deep on a system. This isn't giving away your secret sauce, okay? Like maybe there's like a really like a DIYer that is like super gung-ho and they're like just needed some valuable tip that you are able to get them totally transformed on their own. But most of the people that you're going to encounter, they're going to be like, holy moly, that looks super complicated. I'm going to hire Vicky for that.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're talking about systems and on your website, you can use yourself as your own case study. This will be that emotional connection that you're looking for, because number one, this is going to give you a little bit of a vulnerability. It's going to kind of like show like secrets under the covers, what's happening here. And then two, you're going to really give them step-by-step how-tos, how to set up a really slick email funnel, or how to set up all of their zaps so all of their appointments come in perfectly and the Zoom links go out correctly. All of those things. I think for you, really going deep in the how-to and like talking about the emotional issue or transformation that you helped create, because you know that systems, when there are clear systems in place, it frees people up to be able to do more.
Yeah.
And your angle on that is the practicality with a little bit of emotion and a little bit of and a lot of how to, without worrying that you're giving away your secret sauce.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I would do with your posts.
Okay. That makes sense. And I want to start incorporating some stories, because I haven't done any stories, so I want to start incorporating those as well.
Yeah, so like just having them peek into your world. And the other thing I really urge you to do in 2019 is really thinking about creating a little community for you for accountability and just emotional support that's going to bring you far.
Absolutely. I definitely do need that. I do need that.
Yay. So here, should we look at, would you like me to look at anything else?
If we have time, we can check out my website, VickiNatalie.com.
Yeah, I have one big suggestion for your site. Your site is stunning and it's gorgeous and it's super clean. I need more you in it, more emotion.
Okay. Okay.
So this right here, this exactly what you do. This is super Capricorn and practical and perfect.
This is it.
Yeah. But your clients, even though they're looking for somebody practical and they're looking for somebody who's really going to help them get things done, they need to understand the ultimate transformation that you're going to be making for them.
Okay.
So by handling their web design and online business support, what are you really giving them?
I actually changed this. What it said before was create space. Hold on. Yeah, create space to do your soul's work, leave all the tech to me, is what I initially had there. But they didn't like state web design specifically, so I was like, well, maybe I should change it. But that was my initial headline.
I love that.
Yeah.
You could have both of that there. I mean, really, this web design and online business support, that can be kind of the little tag under your big hero message.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah.
Because I really like that, but I was like, well, it's not really clear, but it speaks to the people, my ideal customer, though.
For sure. It's beautiful. I love your site. Yeah, adding a little bit, like when we also on that vein, it's like, what will, like web design and branding, well, what is the transformation that you're going to help them with? And
Okay.
if really you want to do more systems for them, I mean, not everybody can do systems. And it's so important. So thinking about that, like maybe you charge more for that, or maybe you highlight that more. What does that look like?
Yeah, what I thought about doing, this was just a single page, is building out a web design page and then building out a online support page, so I can go more into details on those.
Yes. I love it. Everything is beautiful. Just just connect with them more on an emotional level.
Okay. I can, that's always been like a struggle, or let's say a challenge for me. You know what I mean? It's just letting people really see me, So, I do understand that in order to, to grow my business, I know that I have to do that.
Yes, people need to see you, and you also need support. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I hope we have something valuable to take away.
I do. And actionable stuff. Like, I know, because that's what I struggle with. I sat here today, like, what am I going to post? I need to post something. And I wasn't sure where to go with it. But this gives me some direction and something I can, take action on.
Yes. And when you're thinking about like the how-tos and stuff, like if it's a complicated system thing, you could make it even like spread it out over like, like 9 posts or something like that. So people keep on coming back and
That's true. Like step
yeah.
by step. Yeah.
And then making sure on your stories that you're reminding people in your stories to check out your post because you have a very detailed post on how to do this so that you'll be getting the stories and the posts, and then you can add them to your highlights and
Yeah, very true. Very true.
well, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. And one little quick thing, if everybody here is still watching, I just wanted to let you know that on Thursday, it's the new moon in Sagittarius. And if you know me, you know that new moon is my jam. It's my favorite time of month. I love to set intentions. I'll be doing a webinar, a new moon in Sagittarius ceremony. And then we'll also be going through my in-depth my branding system and program, and you can use it for yourself or whatnot. So that's it for now. And thank you, Vicki. It was such a pleasure.
So much. This was great. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.